Hello, welcome to my XJT10 channel. This is Cessna 172 flying procedures. So this is going to be a tutorial of how to fly a 172. I'm sorry for the camera. I'm just using my iPod Touch, and I don't have fraps or any tripod to put this on, so I'm just holding it with my hand. I apologize for that. There's nothing I can do about it except for to get fraps. But I don't want to do fraps because last time I did it gave my computer a virus. So, let's begin. So, first thing, you need to make sure you already went through your checklist, which is right here. You know, Cessna 172 SP normal checklist, pre-flight inspection. Then goes for the before starting engine. So seat belts. Again, this is a game, you know, no seatbelts apparently. Parking brake is set. What I do is once before you even do anything, check your trim, because sometimes the trim screws up. Like sometimes I start flying my trims all the way up, and that's why I'm going down. Alright, what I do right before I start up a plane, I bring the mixture and throttle to full rich and then bring it back down so the fuel is in the engine. Make sure everything is off. Radios, lights, gauges, master, battery, etc. All that stuff is off. Because you don't want to, you know, find out that something has been on all day or like all night and you just drain your battery. So, here's my switch panel right here with the key ignition installed, master battery and alternator are on now, so you can hear that spooling up. My tail number is November 7458 Yankee, and we're at Chicago Executive Airport, aka Milwaukee. Turn on the only light you should have on while you're flying during the day is your beacon light. So have that on. Mixture, like right about there, throttle 1/4 inch, right there. We don't need that one, but so once you start up the plane, have both brakes on both. Once you start up the plane, bring the RPM back to 1,000 RPM and mixture all the way forward, and then do a clear prop, but whatever. RPM is at 1,000 RPM, mixture is rich, avionics master switch on, so then that's on, you can turn that on for navigation. Test the autopilot, bring it back down, the throttle, clear to taxi. The ATC in the game usually sucks because if I want to go to a certain point at the airport, they don't let you do that. It's only one place. So I can do my own, but I can try doing my own ATC later. So right now I'm going to taxi to runway 30, which is over there. So let's go. Set your flaps to 1%. I'm at to 10. So this one notch down should be good enough. The reason I did not use my fuel pump is because the plane was just running before I turned on this video, so the engine was already warm. So I don't need a master. I don't need the fuel pump on. Alright, we're on taxiway Foxtrot right now. We're going to hold short here and do our engine run up. Alright. Engine run up is to make sure I really honestly don't know why we have to do engine run-ups, just to make sure that engine is running properly and make sure everything works and the RPM drops with the mags over there. Alright, so we're going to do a RPM. We're going to do an engine run-up. I have the parking brake on because if I have both brakes on and do it to 1800 RPM, the plane moves, so the brakes in the game aren't really that great. To bring the throttle to 1800 RPM, RPM, check mags, right, and both, and then left, right, left, and then back to both again. Check my flag controls, check my rudders. Rudders work properly, trim is set to take off, fuel selector valve is good, alternator air pull on. There it is. Turn that on to make sure the RPM goes down too. Alright, that's responding. Mixture check. Alright, and that's where you should have the RPM at for a run up, right about there. Alright. And then bring it back down to idle. Again, only beacon light is on because it's during the day. You don't need all these extra lights on. Alright, so check for traffic, make sure your flaps are down 1 notch, and then we get cleared to take off. And then slowly enrich the throttle to full. Slowly enrich it. And once you reach 55 knots, pull up on this on the yoke. 55 knots right there. Climb at a speed of 80 knots, 70 to 80. Make sure your nose isn't up too high, or else you stall. So we don't want that to happen. I'm going a little slow. I'm still practicing my out climbs, but there's my climb right there. See, around 71, 70. Throttle down a little bit. We're gonna make our first turn to the left. Check for traffic. Traffic around there. Remember, only beacon, because I've seen lots of people take off with all of the lights on. Mostly beacon light is only on. Landing light, you could have that on when you take off or land. It's kind of required off, but you can have it on. And there you go. There's our flaps are still down 1 notch because we're in the flap zone. See that white area right there? That is only for flaps. You know, that's your flap speed. And I'm right in the middle of that. We're gonna land on runway 30 again, 30. So we're gonna descend at another notch of flap so we can slow down a little bit. Compass is right there. Make sure RPM. Oh, and make sure everything's in the green. Sorry, I forgot to show you that. When you're doing engine run up, make sure everything's in the green. Sorry, I forgot that. I left it out. Okay, another notch of flaps. Extra throttle. RPM. And now, yep. See, it's a Cessna yoke. Alright. Gonna have our nose headed downwards. And those are approach lights. Make sure they're 2 red and 2 white. So 2 red and 2 white mean you're on a good glide slope into the runway. All white, as you can see right there, means that you're too high. All red means you're too low. So make sure you have 2 white and 2 red. So we're gonna head towards the runway right now. It might be a little hard for me to get 2 red and 2 white because I'm holding my iPod with one hand, flying with the other. So that might be a little hard for me, so that's why. Once I get a tripod or fraps, it should be a lot easier. I'm too high, so I gotta descend. Keep watching your airspeed and your altimeter. Throttle to idle. Just glide in. I'm a little high, that's why. Make sure and flare at the last second, right before you touch down. Flare. So there. A little hard. Alright, now we're on the ground. Very quick lesson, just to show you guys. You know, there's a plane taking off right there. Alright, so flaps are down to full. Turn on to taxiway. Turn to the tap. Flaps up to full. Flap on. Retract flaps. All the way up back to 0. Another thing I left out. When you're taxiing the plane, right when you start up the plane and right when you're just about to move, test your brakes. Make sure there's a right brake and a left brake. Make sure they work, because you don't want to find out while you're taking off. You find out you don't have, you know, only your left brake working, your right one doesn't work. I'm gonna pull in here. Pull in this parking spot right there. Just gonna squeeze it here. Alright. Parking brake is on, radio is off, make sure idle cut off. Beacon off, mags turn to off. Make sure everything else is off. Alternator and battery off. Door open, and you're done. Little quick flight of a 172. I could do better, but this is how far I've gotten right now. But there you go.